For this week's video, we're having a look at division, and there's one video for everyone in Year 6. The first thing and the main thing for understanding division is that we see it as an inverse of multiplication. Here, I've got 18 circles, and if I'm doing 18 divided by 6, I'm asking myself, how many sets of 6 are there in 18? There are, of course, 3. Now, that very principle, seeing division as how many lots of this number in that number, must stay with us when we're doing harder questions. There's another really important principle that we need to understand. When we're multiplying, it doesn't matter the order of the numbers in the multiplication. 6 times 3 and 3 times 6 give the same answer, 18. That's not the same when we're dividing. Here we can see that 8 split into 2 groups is 4. However, 2 split into 8 groups is very different. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quarters. So 2 divided by 8 is actually 0.25. I can see the order of the numbers here changes the answer. Now, I'll just emphasise again, when you're dividing mentally, be really clear that what you're thinking about is how many of this number is there in this number. So when I'm trying to do 150 divided by 25, I'd think, well, there's 6 25s in 150, so my answer's 6. Here are some divisions for you to have a go at mentally. Some are easier, some get extremely difficult. See how many you can manage. So let's see how you got on. How many 9s in 54? Well, of course there are 6. 9 times 6 is 54. How many 6s in 40? Well, 6 6s are 36, so that'll give me a remainder of 4. And I would also have to divide the 4 by 6 as well, so I deal with that remainder properly. So that would leave me with 6 and 4 sixths. I could simplify 4 sixths, of course, to 2/3 by dividing the top and the bottom by 2. There are 8 1.5s in 12. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 lots of a half is 4. And add that together. And then that will get you to your 12. And then finally, how many quarters? How many 0.25s in 3.5? Well, of course, there's 4 quarters in 1. So there must be 12 quarters in 3, another 2 quarters in the 0.5, and so that will be a total of 14. You can see here that even though I'm dividing, because I'm dividing by a decimal, the number itself is actually getting bigger. Also, when dividing, you've got to think about what you do with any remainders, and that might depend on the actual context of the question. Have a go at these 3 questions, and have a think about the form that the answer needs to take. So for the first question, we'd have to do 163 divided by 20 gives us 8 remainder 3. Now that would tell us that we'll need 9 helicopters, because actually 8 helicopters wouldn't be enough for all the people. There would still be 3 left over. For the second question, if the friends each paid £15, of course that would only make £60. So there'll be another £3 that they'll need to come up with, and that's between the 4 of them. So actually they'll need to pay another £0.75, or another 75p. So in total they'll pay £15.75. Now, of course, in real terms they might feel generous and want to give a tip. And in the final example, of course, we'd have to do 90 divided by 25, which would give us 3 remainder 15. And that's saying I can afford 3 full lessons, and because I haven't got enough money for the 4th one, I've not got £100, of course in this case I have to round down. 3